Hello, beautiful people. I want to greet you once again on behalf of Mtumishi Ishmael Volunteer Health Talks. We want to bring this message to you tonight. There is something small that we are going to learn about thyroid gland. Thyroid gland is this part. Some people call it Adam's apple, but it is basically thyroid gland, and it is what I want us to learn about today, its role or its importance in our bodies. So thyroid gland is flower shaped, looks like a flower, and it has very important role because it produces some hormones. Hope you know what hormones are. Hormones are chemicals that are produced by body which coordinate various functions in the body and also metabolism. So those are they are just basically chemicals. And so this thyroid gland is very useful in production of three hormones, whereby we have T3, T4, and calcitonin. T3 in full is triiodothyronine, and T4 is thyroxine hormone. Calcitonin is just like that. So one thing you have to notice here is that these hormones, like for example, this T4 thyroxine is produced in inactive form. So it is not able to coordinate metabolism. It is not able to impact the body cells to aid or to facilitate their body metabolism. So this T4 is produced in inactive form. So for it to be active, it must be converted into the active form, which is T3. I have said T3 is triiodothyronine hormone. And so these hormones, they are what we call the thyroid hormones, and their role is very important. They play a very good role in the conversion of the food that we take into energy. So the food that we are taking cannot be absorbed by the body in its form. So it must be converted into energy. And this is what we are calling metabolism. So metabolism is whereby the food that we have taken is converted into energy, and this is the work of these hormones, the T3. So therefore, we also have this calcitonin, because I've said it is part of the hormones that are produced by the thyroid gland. Calcitonin is useful in the regulation of the calcium levels in the body or in the blood, and it regulates it by reducing it. So it regulates the calcium levels by reduction. So it reduces the calcium levels in the blood. That is the function of calcitonin. So how are these how are these hormones produced? There is a complex feedback mechanism that is applied here. So three body parts must be involved. So for these hormones to be produced by the thyroid gland, there must be hypothalamus, which is part of the brain. We must also have pituitary gland, and we must have thyroid gland. So I've said we should have hypothalamus. So hypothalamus is involved. Pituitary gland is also involved, and also thyroid gland is also involved. So what basically happens? So the hypothalamus, which is part of the brain, releases an hormone called TRH. So for example, when the levels of the hormones are very low, the hypothalamus part of the brain releases this hormone called TRH, thyrotropin releasing hormone. So this TRH, thyrotropin releasing hormone, acts on pituitary gland or stimulates pituitary gland. Pituitary gland, after stimulation, it produces this hormone called TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. Now this thyroid stimulating hormone is the one that acts on the thyroid gland, leading to production of T3, T4, and calcitonin hormones. I don't know whether you are getting this. I've said we have hypothalamus. Hypothalamus, after it has sensed that there is low levels of the thyroid hormones in the blood, it releases TRH, which is thyrotropin releasing hormone. This TRH acts on the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland now produces TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, which now travels and stimulates the thyroid gland, like sends messages to the thyroid gland, and therefore the thyroid gland produces T3 and T4 and also calcitonin. So that is basically what happens. That is when we have low levels of thyroid hormones in the blood. Now, what happens now when we have enough thyroid hormones in the blood? That's why I'm saying there is a complex feedback mechanism. So for example, when we have high levels of sufficient levels of thyroid hormones in the blood, what happens? Now the thyroid gland sends messages to the thyroid gland. You remember thyroid gland is the one which is producing the hormones. So when the levels are sufficient or when they are maybe high, so it means the hypothalamus must stop releasing what? TRH. Like this hypothalamus is the one which is releasing TRH. This TRH is causing effect on the pituitary gland. After impacting the pituitary gland is releasing TSH, the thyroid stimulating hormone. So something must be done to stop hypothalamus from producing TRH. So an impulse is sent. An impulse is sent to the pituitary gland, and also after the pituitary gland has received the message, it also sends signals. These are messages. They are signals. They are sent to the hypothalamus, and now hypothalamus is stopped, is inhibited from releasing TRH, because all these effects, production of TSH, is as a result of TRH. So the hypothalamus stops producing TRH, and therefore the thyroid hormones, the levels are maintained at optimum or at normal levels. So that is when we have the normal or sufficient levels of thyroid hormones in the blood. So it's just a complex feedback mechanism. When the amounts are low, the hypothalamus is stimulated, leading to production of TRH and all that. When the levels are low, when the levels are sufficient, now the feedback mechanism comes back. So I just wanted you to understand this, because the thyroid gland is very important. It's very important. Sometimes we have disorders that can affect our thyroid, like thyroiditis, which is inflammation of the thyroid gland, which can lead to impairment in the production of these thyroid hormones. So next time we'll know what now will happen if we have impairment. Can we have some problems with the food that we take and all that? So that's the message that we had today from MIVHT. Always stay tuned. God bless you.